Maureen was 16, the kind of girl whose beauty stopped conversations. Her almond-shaped eyes glowed with kindness, her smile lit up a room, and her soft-spoken voice carried a quiet charm. But her beauty was only part of her gift. Her heart was gentle, her spirit humble, and her mind sharp. She came from a wealthy family. Her father was a successful business magnate, her mother a well-known philanthropist. Their home was a mansion filled with shining marble floors, chandeliers like falling stars, and cars that gleamed in the driveway. Yet, despite the luxury, Maureen never wore her wealth as a crown. At her former school, she had been the center of attention. But as she grew older, she began to see the truth. Her so-called friends didn't really care about her. They clung to her for what she could give, money, gifts, influence, but when she needed someone to truly listen, they vanished. So, when her parents suggested she move to Crestwood Academy, one of the most prestigious schools in the city, Maureen made a decision. She would hide her wealth. She would act like an ordinary girl, from an average home, to see who would truly accept her for who she was. On her first day at Crestwood, Maureen arrived in the simplest uniform she could find. Her hair was neatly tied back, no jewelry except for a tiny silver cross pendant, and she carried a plain school bag. Her quiet grace drew attention, but unlike others who flaunted status, Maureen blended in. She joined study groups, played volleyball with her classmates, and ate in the cafeteria without any airs. Some students found her sweet and approachable. Others whispered, wondering why such a beautiful girl seemed so ordinary. But there was one person who noticed her more than anyone else, Adrian, the most popular boy in school. Adrian was handsome, charming, and the son of a wealthy politician. Many girls admired him, and some even competed for his attention. Yet, he seemed strangely captivated by Maureen, drawn not only to her beauty but to her humility. Among the students was Mimi. She was from an average home, but she hated to admit it. Her father was a taxi driver, her mother a chef who worked for a wealthy family in the city. Mimi despised her background, so she built a fake image. At Crestwood, she boasted about expensive vacations she never took, wore borrowed clothes to look rich, and claimed to have connections she didn't. She wanted people to believe she was high and mighty. So when Adrian began to notice Maureen, the simple girl who seemed to have nothing, Mimi's pride burned. How dare she? Mimi muttered to her friends. That nobody thinks she can compete with me. Mimi made it her mission to put Maureen down. She mocked her plain school bag, laughed at her cheap shoes, and sometimes pushed her out of the way during group activities. Maureen, with her gentle heart, never retaliated. She endured in silence, her humility shining through even in the face of cruelty. But Adrian noticed, and his respect for her only grew. The school soon announced its annual fundraising ceremony, a grand event where parents were invited to contribute to Crestwood's growth. The hall was decorated with silk drapes, golden lights, and banners bearing the school's crest. Students were excited to show off their families. Mimi was nervous. She didn't want her mother to come. She lied to her classmates, claiming her parents were traveling abroad and couldn't attend. She even warned her mother sternly. Don't you dare show up at Crestwood. I don't want anyone to know what you do. But fate had other plans. On the day of the event, Maureen arrived with her parents. The Roberts family stepped out of their sleek black car, drawing admiration. Mr. Roberts, tall and confident, was warmly greeted by the school principal. Mrs. Roberts, graceful in her attire, smiled kindly as she took Maureen's hand. The hall buzzed with excitement at their arrival. But the real shock came when another woman walked in, Mimi's mother, wearing a simple wrapper and head tie, holding a food basket she had brought along as a contribution. Mama Mimi, someone whispered. Mimi's face turned white. She tried to drag her mother out, but it was too late. Because in that very moment, Mrs. Roberts, the mother of Maureen, smiled warmly and said, "Oh, Necker, you are here. The hall went silent. Whispers began to spread like wildfire. Wait. Maureen's family's chef is Mimi's mother. So all this time. Mimi froze. Her lies unraveled in front of everyone. The girl who pretended to be rich was now revealed to be the daughter of the woman who worked in Maureen's household. Adrian looked at Mimi with disappointment, his admiration for her pride vanishing instantly. His eyes shifted to Maureen, who stood with calm dignity, holding her mother's hand. The principal cleared his throat and addressed the gathering. Ladies and gentlemen, today we see the true meaning of humility. Wealth is not about arrogance, and poverty is not a shame. What matters is character. Mimi broke into tears, ashamed as students whispered and pointed. She ran out of the hall, her pride shattered. Maureen, however, walked gracefully to her, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder. Mimi, she said softly, you don't need to pretend. You are enough just as you are. Those words pierced Mimi's heart. She realized the truth she had refused to accept: arrogance had made her cruel, and pride had destroyed her image. From that day, Mimi changed. She became humbler, no longer mocking others or pretending to be who she wasn't. She learned to respect herself and others for their true worth. As for Maureen, her identity as the daughter of wealth was revealed, but by then everyone already loved her for her character. Adrian, deeply impressed by her humility, grew even closer to her. And so, the story of Maureen became a lesson at Crestwood Academy. That true wealth is not in riches, but in humility and kindness.